is this streaming? Yeah, so there was a bit. I'm using OBS again, which I think I've done before, but I always forget what I'm doing. So I'm not sure what this is even streaming to. I guess it just automatically does it, maybe because I put in the information before, if this is going to my channel or what. Yeah, okay, I just got a notification that this is on the YouTube channel. Okay, that's good, because I'm using OBS. Give that another shot. So I don't know. Last week, I was supposed to do a commentary with Jay and Orc, and some stuff came up and they couldn't do it. And I'm not sure when we're going to do that, but I feel like doing something. So just on my own with OBS. I've been in the mood for this movie for a long time. Actually, for some reason, October, I know it's spooky month and time for horror movies and stuff like that, and I'm going to get into it. But October does make me think of this because it seems to take place in the fall. I don't know, it's New York in the fall. This is The Warriors from 1979 by Walter Hill. If you go way back to my days on the Sausage Factory, one of the episodes we did was underrated directors, and the idea was each one of us would pick one that we thought was underrated. And my pick was Walter Hill. I always thought he was a little under the radar, very stylish guy. I mean, he's not making movies anymore. He might still be in the biz. He's been around a lot as a producer. I know he was one of the important figures in the producing of, say, the Alien franchise, definitely for the first couple. He's always been around. He'd be quite old now. And I know for a long time, in the 2000s, when I got into this movie, there was talk of either a remake or a sequel, and maybe using, like, real-life gangs, but in LA, I don't know. It never sounded like a good idea, because I think one of the things that most people, like myself, are into when it comes to this movie is its cool sort of fantasy style. It's a very influential movie style-wise. Oh, what did I just do to the camera? Well, we'll fix it. This sometimes helps. I think a lot of people who haven't seen it are, like, have seen, like, references to it or homages or parodies. I think a lot of people aren't familiar, even if they don't know where it comes from, with the Warriors come out and play a thing. Or maybe the guy going, "Can you dig it?" I don't know. Very quotable movie with a lot of cool characters and a lot of style. But Walter Hill, I was thinking of sort of a throwback. He wasn't a throwback then, but I just mean nowadays he'd be a throwback. I mean, anybody that did stuff. But I just mean he did sort of manly type movies, I guess you could say. You know, females don't really get too much play in his movies. And I'm not holding. I always say whenever you're talking about a movie or a filmmaker or whatever, it could apply to almost any artist. Like, there's not much point in criticizing them for talking about the things that they aren't. And one of the things he's not is a guy that wrote or created movies that had, like, big, expansive, or deep female roles. There's basically one female, and she does pretty well, but it's somewhat realistic given the situation. It's a New York. It's in sort of an unspecified time. It seems very 70s, being made in 1979, but it has almost a semi-futuristic vibe to it. I don't think it's really supposed to be necessarily in the future. It's just more like an alternate history, alternate timeline, whatever you want to call it. But of a New York that obviously is really full of gangs, and obviously the gangs would be males. And of course it's much more colorful and fanciful than real life. The gangs all have, like, very distinctive, not just gang colors, but actual costumes that they dress up in and goes with their names. And of course this is the titular, the Warriors. I love this movie for its simplicity. It's a very simple story, it's actually based on a novel of the same name from 1965, which, as you might imagine, is a little more dark and edgy than the movie, in that the Warriors themselves are, well, in this we see that they're not exactly heroic. They're still seen as much more heroic than the other gangs, particularly some of them, and we see that certain members have some pretty good attributes to them, while there's a couple that are more or less kind of what you'd expect, but they don't seem as bad as comparison. And it seems like whereas in the book, a lot of them do really bad stuff, and it's not really in the movie, and it wouldn't really fly. And that's fine. I haven't read the book. It's just stuff I found out about it. But anyway, the book itself, or the story itself, is very loosely based on a story from ancient Greece called the Anabasis from Xenophon. And just the idea there was something like a small group of soldiers, a unit, a regiment, whatever you want to call it. They got, I think, trapped behind enemy lines, and the whole idea was they were sort of surrounded by enemies on all sides, and they had to make their way home, trying their best to fight their way through and avoid enemies, and that's what's going on very much in here, and that we have a gang, which is bigger than all the gangs are much bigger than a lot of what we see. In this, there's 9 members of the Warriors. The idea is they're just representing them at this meeting. There's even more than that, but anyway, there's 9 guys who wind up going out of their territory, which I think is Coney Island. Every gang has their territory into, I think, is it the Bronx? It's like the zoo, the Bronx Zoo maybe. My memory's fuzzy. It's been a long time since I've seen this movie. Do I own it? Here's the old DVD. Here's a note. This is the director's cut, so if anybody wants to cue this up, this is the director's cut version, which has some changes and some things. I'm past. On this DVD, there's an introduction to the director's cut by Walter Hill, where he basically says he doesn't like stuff like that. But I've skipped past that there, and I'm right at the Paramount logo. But yeah, so there is some different stuff about the director's cut, including some like comic booky segs that you'll see. But anyway, so yeah, we've got a gang that's going to find itself isolated, and they don't even know why at first, why they're being hunted by the other gangs trying to make their way through the streets of New York one night. Just a cool concept, very simply, and very well done. And like I said, this movie has a lot of cool style. I think in some ways Walter Hill's style and John Carpenter's overlap a little, especially in this. This movie might remind you a lot of a movie that came out just a couple years after this, Escape from New York. It's kind of the same thing. It's like a hostile New York, but it's in the future, but it's not super far in the future, and it's got kind of a similar futuristic 70s version of a soundtrack. I don't know. But I much prefer this. I mean, I like a lot of Carpenter, but I've never rated Escape from New York super high. I like it, but if I was going to compare them, I like The Warriors more, but maybe that's not fair. The ultimate director's cut. But anyway, so we're going to get to that in just a minute. I'm just trying to refamiliarize myself with a few things here. I like the cast. A lot of guys that would really go on to be notable character actors rather than more like leading man types, I suppose. But, yeah, James Remar. It's weird, they're all old men now, but they were young in the late 70s. James Remar, Michael Beck. Look at some of these other names that I don't know as well. But where's Luther? Oh, so David Patrick Kelly is Luther, who's sort of the main antagonist. And I didn't see this movie until the early 2000s, but I always knew David Patrick Kelly for another great villain role as a character actor he did, where he's T-Bird in The Crow, which of course I will watch this month as I watch every Devil's Night. And he gives a great, memorable performance in both of those. Also, if people... where else you can see him is he's in the movie Commando. Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's the guy that Arnold Schwarzenegger has that line about. He says, you know when I told you I'd kill you last? He's like, yeah, you said that. He's like, I lied. And he like throws him off the cliff. That's also him, David Patrick Kelly. He's really good at playing like a scumbag. And the whole taking the bottles and clinking them that were towards the end and the come out and play thing, that's all improvised. That was all something he just sort of made up on the spot. So pretty cool. So we might as well get into it. Just let me click off a few things here because I don't know what I'm doing. Just give me a moment. It's a bit different when I'm streaming with OBS. I don't have the same stuff in front of me. So I just want to be sure. Let's see here. It's because I usually don't have the YouTube. I usually don't have the broadcast open itself. Oh, maybe I can't see it anyway. Yeah, so I don't know how to like see. Click here. Okay. Hold on, I'm gonna hear myself in a second. It's gonna echo back. Okay, there we go. Just had to take care of a few things. Because like I said, I'm doing this. Things are slightly different doing this with OBS, and every time I do it, I'm like, is it working? Is this even broadcasting? Is anything happening? I don't know. So, I don't know. I'm going to talk about it as we go. It's not a particularly deep movie, but interesting thing too. So this is early 2000s. A video game for this came out that I never got to play that seemed to be, I don't know, was it Rockstar? Because it seemed to be very much reminiscent of the Rockstar style games. But here's the thing about it. Yeah, it is Rockstar, so here's the thing about the upcoming game, The Warriors. And it's, yeah, by Rockstar, and it's very much using sort of the same engine and kind of gameplay I would assume from the Grand Theft Auto series. I always wanted to play it. I never did. But I heard it was pretty good, pretty fun. I can see how that kind of game would work for this sort of setting. But anyway, without further ado, we will do a 3, 2, 1, I'm on the Paramount logo, and then we'll go. So 3. Now, a bunch of idiots outside. I've had my windows closed the last few days. It actually warmed up, so my window's open. Now there's a bunch of people outside making noise. That is bothering me. Hold on. I can't help it. I live off a little playground, which is where there's a daycare in my building. That's where the kids play at daytime. But at nighttime, often, like tonight, a bunch of male teenagers like to hang out there. So they're probably not going anywhere for a while, so I think it was right to close the window. Alright, here we go. Do a 3, 2, 1, hit play. 3, 2, 1, let's push play. I'll work on the volume as we go in case it's too loud. This whole movie takes place at night, and then, like, its climax is as the sun is driving. Yeah, so this already what we're seeing here, talking about the Battle Canaxa and these comic book panels. This is all stuff added to the, with this narration, is all added to the director's cut version. It's not in the original cut. I don't think I've ever seen the original cut. If you remember the movie, also from the early 2000s, not this, but I mean, speaking of the early 2000s, Frailty. In Frailty, some of the flashback stuff to when the main characters were kids, you see that the younger brother and the older brother are arguing about what movie to see. The older brother wants to see The Warriors, but the younger brother wants to see Meatballs, so I guess they probably were playing around the same time in 1979. What was it that? So it has to say sometime in the future, so it gives that. It does in the director's cut say sometime in the future. And we see the comic book panel turn into real life as we get a look at Coney Island there, the Ferris wheel. But I mean, yeah, this movie has such a great distinctive look. It's nighttime, but it's full of neon light and colorful gangs. And I really love the music. Very atmospheric. And it's actually been quite a few years since I've taken this thing out and given it a spin. Even though it's always been one of my favorite movies. Definitely one of my favorite movies of the 70s. It's probably a bit too loud, huh? Yeah, that's better. I know shooting for this was no picnic either. I read some stuff about that. Some problems on set, which is also why they made some story changes. Because I get my characters mixed up. One was called Fox or something. We'll see. See if I'm right. It was like, originally with the girl, they're going to have her like maybe become romantically... She does become romantically involved with them. But it's actually sort of the main guy. But at first it was going to be somebody else. And it might be Fox. So yeah, Cyrus. Right, so Cyrus is the leader of the most powerful gang in the city. And he's called a meeting. That's the big setup here. It's funny because of what happens, everything Cyrus says is like rendered moot. But it's an interesting sort of what-if scenario. Because Cyrus is going to have this... he calls them all and nobody knows about, and he's going to give this long speech, which we'll get to, yeah. I think Fox is the guy with the cowboy hat. Makes me just want to call him Cowboy, but I think he's Fox. So they're taking the subway. And the Warriors are distinctive for having a very... Even though I don't think there's any Native Americans in the gang, or at least in the 9 that we see, they've got these leather vests and a very Native American inspired design. But all the gangs have really cool designs. I think a lot of people's favorite are the Baseball Furies. They're pretty cool. So in the city, yeah, Joe Walsh performs that at the very end. It makes for a big departure after sort of this moody stuff. So here's a flashback showing them talking about it. It's cool. I can't remember the name of Cyrus's gang. They're the most powerful gang, and they're all black. Although a lot of these gangs we'll see, maybe including the Warriors, are interracial. There are gangs that are just all one too. So we get some shots of lots of gangs that aren't even named. These guys look like Michael Jackson, kind of shiny. These guys are like mimes with top hats. I don't know. Maybe they got that from Clockwork Orange. I don't know how the gangs are described in the book. I don't know if this is like an accurate depiction of them, or for the movie's sake they dressed them up and made them more colorful. I don't know. But lots of different shots of gangs leaving their places. Those guys don't look like much. They're kind of normal. They're wearing jeans. Yeah, so we've got 9 guys. Nine guys, no weapons. There's some sort of Asian gang. Yeah, seems like pretty much everybody's using the subway. Because the subway is the best way to get there. The electric... Is it eliminators? Those guys have got cool jackets. See, some of them look like gangs, and other guys just look like, you know, like, what did they have back then? Or did they start in '79? I know in the '80s. You know, like those those groups of people that would dance on the street. It's not I can't remember, but you know, break dancers and stuff. Right. Yeah. So one of the guys they bring, it's important, is he's not a fighter or anything. I think they call him Rembrandt, and his whole thing is he does graffiti. He does tags in there. He's being told, you know, I want you to make sure that people know that we were there, so make our mark. So yeah, he's not fun. Yeah, based on the novel by Saul Urich. Apparently the novel's a lot darker and harsher, and the warriors, a lot of them aren't very likable. They're just sort of... But most of them are fairly likable, although we will see some of them doing douche things. They are criminals after all. As you see, young men, gangs, a lot of testosterone. He says, wearing our colors, we can't hide. He says, who wants to hide? Well, they'll want to hide once what happens, happens. Those guys also aren't you. Those guys are just black tank top. It's simple. It's bold. It's simple. It's a great intro. The credits are coming in then. Screenplay by David Shaver and Walter Hill. So Walter Hill didn't write it completely on his own. What's a great intro? Gives you all the setup you need. The flashbacks work pretty well. Oh, still doing a few. I think, is it Cleon? Cleon's the name of their leader? Yeah, they're just... By strange wool, he means women, or girls, I guess. There. It's a sign of not just the times, but also just a gang. The guy's like, you got a one-track mind. He's like, what, you going faggot? Just for even questioning it. Rembrandt seems a little effeminate, but nobody seems to give him a hard time for it. So... There we go. Credits over. Directed by Walter Hill. We'll get into it. So it's a very effective... I think it's a really effective opening. It's cutting back to the little flashbacks of them having one-on-one conversations with each other, saying what they're going into, showing them on the train in the present, showing the various other gangs making their way, and showing shots of the subway map and the maps. I like it all. It's really effective. So here we are. I think it's the Bronx Zoo, and there are hundreds of them, which was really scary when you think every gang only sent 9 members. So you think, how many friggin'... Yeah, so New York is just overrun by these gangs. I know, New York is a big city, but still, there's a lot of... This is a lot of criminals. But yeah, Cyrus's gang, what are they called? They're an all-black gang, but they seem to have some sort of, like, kung fu or karate kind of motif, I think. Let's see. They're all waiting. But the dialogue is so good. I really like the speech. I mean, Cyrus is going to get capped at the end of this, but he makes the most of his time. So yeah, it's very tense. A lot of tension in the air, all these guys. Some sort of skinhead-esque gang, but different. But the baseball Furies really stand out, because they're wearing baseball uniforms and colored face paint. Here we go. I wonder if when Frank Miller was doing The Dark Knight Returns, when he was doing the Mutant Gang, if he took any inspiration from this movie, because I can see some similarities. Gotham belongs to the mutants. Saracens, Jones Street Boys, Moonrunners, Van Cortlandt Rangers seems a little long. How many times does it say can you dig? How many times does it say can you dig it? Cyrus is making a lot of sense. He's wearing some sort of almost like robe. $20,000. Okay, yeah. So there's like only half the gangs are actually here. Because I remember one gang that attacks them. They say like they're so far down like the rankings or whatever. It's like they might as well not matter, but they might kill us. Because yeah, there's kind of a hierarchy, and right at the top is this gang. Here's the first Can You Dig It? You can see why he's the leader. He's very charismatic. And he's good at speeches. They're all wrapped up. They can totally dig it. We built this city. Sorry. You're saying run this city. Yeah, so this whole thing is there's no point in us all fighting each other. If we all came together, we could run the city. The other crime syndicates like the mob and the cops wouldn't be any match for them because there's sheer numbers. Ah, yes, and here's the other element, is that somebody tipped off the cops, or maybe they just noticed, because now the cops are quietly surrounding it. They don't seem to have much of a plan, though. Can't arrest all of them. Hundreds of them. But you can see even some of the warriors are caught up in this. They're like, yeah, cool. They can dig it. The man, nice. So in the director's cut, we're just past 12 minutes in running time. I'll get some time spent. Oh, right, the little piece of turf once again. Yeah, he's a very gifted speaker. They like what he's selling. They're buying what he's selling. We haven't seen Luther and his gang at all yet. They don't... They just show, besides the cops, they just show pretty much everybody getting on board with what Cyrus is saying. So this is going to be pretty darn abrupt, I guess. More cops. I don't think he ever gets to say anything else. He's just enjoying the moment. Ah, there we go. Yeah, we don't actually see the game. We just see them passing a gun. We don't see the faces or anything until it finally ends up in Luther's hands. David Patrick Kelly. There he is. He's making those. Oh, but he's gonna get. I also like that this guy, Luther doesn't even really have any. Oh, falls right off. Run, maybe. And this is, I think, just... Oh, there's the rogues. There's one warrior standing there not reacting. So I guess it's just inspiration. He's going to shoot him first, and then the lights come on. Yeah, I couldn't remember exactly the sequence of events because obviously what's going to happen here is going to say it was the Warriors that did it. It was the Warriors. I think it's just because he was inspired just by one of the Warriors. I can't remember which one was standing there not reacting. So Luther was going to shoot him too, till the cops showed up, and now it's just chaos, bedlam, mayhem. Cleon's not going to make it. Spoilers. Look out, Rembrandt. Separated. Yeah, Cleon got close to see if Cyrus is alive or not. I keep saying Cleon. I hope I'm. Yeah, it is Cleon. Okay, just a second it popped up there. I was like, I hope I'm not keep naming the leader of the Warriors wrong. But yes, the leader of the Warriors is Cleon. He's up front. And there, Luther's screaming. He was the guy that did it. The Warriors did it. Luther knows if he just screams the Warriors did it enough, people will believe it. They don't really need proof or anything. He takes down a couple. But now he's getting attacked by Cleon's own gang. Yeah, see, they seem to be wearing almost like a karate gi type thing. And Cleon is overwhelmed. And here come the police. This would have been a difficult scene to direct. So many people, and you have them running, some running in one direction. Yeah, and scenes like this are always, must be hard to do when you have so many people. Because it's not just a crowd scene, it's a crowd scene where people are running every which way, and the cops are doing one thing and one group's doing another thing. Here come the cops in riot gear. The Warriors managed to break out the back, not realizing maybe that Cleon's not with them. So none of them heard that or saw that. None of the Warriors at this point have any idea that they've been blamed for Cyrus's assassination. They're just running from the cops like everybody else. What can you even arrest them for? I guess, well, technically trespassing. I don't think you're supposed to go into the zoo after hours. Graveyard. Gotta get names straight. I think Fox has the cowboy hat. Let's see here. I know Rembrandt when I see him. James Remar's Ajax. Michael Beck is Swan. He's kind of going to emerge as like the main guy. Oh, there is a guy called Cowboy. Okay. What did I say? Okay. Another guy called Snow. We got Swan and Snow. It's like you're white, so that's what you get. Okay. So he is called Cowboy. That keeps things simple. I don't think they're good at geography, but they are far from Coney Island if they can't take the trains. Is the truce still on? Even if the truce is on, it doesn't matter for you guys. Rembrandt doing some lookout duty. He's the one that finds out, I think. Platform at Union Square. Who made you leader? Is this the question? Yeah. Yeah. All they know is Cleon's not with them. But yeah. War Chief, okay, so Cleon did make Swan War Chief, which I guess is like second in command or take over if I'm not there, I don't know. But as we can see, there's already some dissension in the ranks, and people don't necessarily want to follow Swan. You just said war chief, now you're saying warlord. Make up your mind. Yeah, Ajax is kind of a hothead. That guy's even got the feathers. Oh, this will be a short movie. The train's right over there. No problem. Yeah, I don't think it's going to work out. So now there are 8. And really 7, I guess, fighters, or whatever you want to call them. Rembrandt's really not the physical type. He's just there for the tagging. So he's tagging some graves, as one does. Oh, yeah, see? And then he does a little freeze-framed. Yeah, see? So these comic book sags and things are not in the original version. I like it. I mean, being a comic book fan doesn't take me out of it. It works just fine. It's not overused. Like, that's the first one since the beginning. Right, so... this is Cyrus's gang. What are they called? Let's see. The Gramercy Riffs. There you go. They're the riffs. The Gramercy Riffs. Yeah, oh. I looked it up and then there he is saying riffs. I mean, I wouldn't have remembered Gramercy. But I guess this is their second-in-command guy. You know he's serious because he wears sunglasses at night. Yeah. Most people even know the Warriors because the Warriors are kind of small time. Doesn't anybody know anything about the Warriors? Like, we got no idea. Yeah, so technically he wants them alive, although I don't think most gangs pay attention to that. Of course, right now he's only talking to his own gang, but they'll put it out to everybody. Send the word. There you go. Oh, I forgot about this. Right, so I forgot about this. This is another thing that you might have seen in other media. Another thing taken from this has been like, is the mysterious radio DJ who is talking about what's going on. We only see her mouth, but I recognize she has a weird name. What is her name? It's like Thigpen or something. Hold on. Lynn Thigpen. And I knew her because I used to watch as a kid in the early 90s the kids game show, the geography show, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. I love that show. I was big into it. And she, Thigpen, was the chief. You might remember the chief. I remember that. So in this, we see a bit younger chief, but we only see her mouth, and it's her talking up on the mic like this. But yeah, that I completely forgot about that. So that's another like motif or thing that I've seen nodded to. Oh, these guys are like Hawaiian shirts. They're pretty laid back. All right, so that's how the word went out. They use her. So, is that like some sort of illegal underground radio station? I don't know. Pirate radio, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So, the Warriors are hiding, but just on principle. They don't know the whole fucking city's after them. Just the cops. Okay, so there is a little pop music here. So we do get that. There's the baseball Furies with all their bats. Picking out their bats. I mean, they got to be the most memorable gang, and they do, of course, have a scene where they get attacked by them. Baseball uniforms, but with painted, brightly colored faces. And this whole bus full of thugs is pretty memorable, too. The glass taken out of the windows. Feels almost like Road Warrior. You know, some of the Mad Max shit. Except urban, right in the city. Love it. Like, this movie's got such flair and style. I think it influenced a lot of stuff. And now it's pouring just to make things better. Thunder and lightning, too, because why not? It might be Cochise. One of them's called Cochise. I can't keep track. They will get whittled down. There's 8 now. There were 9, now there's 8. Not all of them will be making it back. Real good. Yeah. I can't believe I forgot about that. The other female character in the movie, although you never see her full face or anything, but she is useful in as a story device. Japped? I guess by japped he means like jumped. Once again, hey, what are we doing waiting? We're acting like faggots. I'm not gonna say faggot every time they do. I just mean it is kind of amusing. But in 1979, nobody would blink an eye about it. Plus, again, these are maybe they're our heroes, but they're anti-heroes. They are a gang themselves, so it's not like they're supposed to be angels. But yeah, see, they don't know that gang's looking for them, but they know there's something going on. So, smart enough to hide. I remember seeing this scene in the trailer for the video game. They, like, redid this scene in the video game. Of that busload of guys looking for them. Lousy, skin-headed fucks. I agree. But if they named the gang, I missed it. I'm pretty sure they're going to turn around. I might not be remembering, or I might be thinking of a later part. We will see. Yep, they turn around. Shit. Well, shit. Uh-oh. Yeah, you guys should not have hesitated. You should have done this before they turned. Oh well, gotta make it more dramatic. I can see how it would be a hard movie to be part of, especially if you're one of the warriors. Very physical role. They're doing a lot of running here. And of course, there's some fight scenes that are pretty good. I think they hold up pretty well. I really like the fight scenes. You know, they're not like choreographed martial arts scenes, but they're good, like some tough sort of gang violence. Although we see that a couple of people like Cleon and the gang that took him down, the Riffs, they're clearly trained in martial arts. You can tell by the way they fight. And even though this is supposed to be like set in the city, it's funny too because of the violence that happens at the subway. Like in 1979, for real, like in New York City, the subway was so crime-ridden that the officials in the city actively just told the populace, avoid it if you can. Like, they did not have a handle on it at all. Like, because people were always getting mugged and attacked on the subway. And of course, in the mid-'80s, Bernie Goetz brought a gun on and rode purposefully. And that's what I mean. There's nothing wrong with defending yourself. The thing about Bernie Goetz was, like, he rode around purposefully just waiting for somebody to attack him so he'd have an excuse to shoot them. He had an unsuccessful campaign for mayor at some point. That's an interesting platform to run on. I'm the guy that shot the guys on the subway. But there. Daring escape. Unfortunately, you're going to have to make more than one. Yep. Everything's going to be just fine. You're on the train. You'll be home. No problem. Yeah, see? Swan keeps them. He's like, when we get there, that's when we made it. No sweat, war chief. Come on now, Rembrandt can't count. He's a painter. We're home free. Oh, you shouldn't have said that. Well, back to the riffs. Okay, so it was the Turnbulls that accosted them in the bus. As they said, the Turnbulls just told us that they missed them. You know, the cops. That's another motif in this movie. There's a cop. The cops are always like also one step behind the action. The Warriors come through a place, some gang almost gets them, and then after that, the cops come in and like take control of the area, but there's nobody to arrest. But here, this is different. This is somebody deliberately set a fire so that they wouldn't be able to get through. So much for home free. Oh, it's turned into Resident Evil. It's like, we got the train running. Awesome! The train has crashed. Oh, okay. I just spent like 4.5 hours getting parts for this train to get everything going, fight my way through here and there and everywhere. And we got the train going. It goes for like 30 seconds. Oh, here's the rogues. We never see who, I guess he's talking to maybe other members of the rogues. I don't know. Just checking in, he says. Because, yeah, we see Luther make a few different phone calls from, but we never actually see who he calls. And we don't hear what they're saying. I love how he screams at the girl and they're like, you gotta pay for that. Yeah, they deserve it, he says. Like, it seems like he really hates the Warriors, but we have no idea if he knows anything about them. But yeah, so they're a little kiosk here and they're passing out stuff. Yeah, they want them alive. We don't. So he's got something against the Warriors, but we don't know any of the backstory history. We just know. I mean, I gotta give him credit. David Patrick Kelly's a small dude. He's like 5'6". What about the money you owe? Whoa! Yeah, great delivery, yeah. Just a really good character actor. It's one of the reasons I really like The Crow. Is he's one of many. Of course, the amazing Michael Wincott is in that too. It was weird seeing him again after so many years. I hadn't seen him in a long time. He's in that movie, Nope. The Jordan Peele movie. I didn't like it at all, but some people did. I thought it was just a bunch of nonsense. With like the most boring, least proactive character I've ever seen, who in the final act suddenly changes and decides he should be proactive for kind of no reason. No, I liked the first two Jordan Peele movies fine. I didn't love them or anything. I didn't think there was anything original or that interesting about Get Out. It's a well-made movie, but it just feels kind of like Stepford Wives. Us was at least original. I liked it for its originality. It had some plot holes that I was willing to overlook because I enjoyed the originality. But Nope, I just did not like anything about Nope, really. Flashback stuff was kind of interesting, but it kind of had no point. But anyway, Michael Wincott is one of the only main characters in that movie, so it was cool seeing him again, because I hadn't seen him in a long, long time. He's older now, of course. But to me, his definitive role is Top Dollar, the main antagonist of The Crow. Oh yeah, so here's a really lame gang. They just got jeans and... Oh, we're gonna get japped, he says. He loves that word. They just have, like, beige t-shirts. Yeah, I think I talked to the part where it's like, these guys are so far down, like, nobody even knows who they are. So they're gonna have this whole thing. These guys hadn't been at the meeting, so they don't know what's going on. So they're just gonna come say, you know... You're allowed to walk through, you're not a threat to us, so we'll let you through. And then somebody, I think the last minute's gonna screw it up. We're parlaying right now. Yeah, their leader or spokesperson is not particularly smart, but maybe that's why this gang never got too far. But he does turn out to be somewhat reasonable. He's a long, gangly guy with black hair. He kind of reminds me of serial killer Richard Ramirez. I'm sorry to give him such a... but he's got kind of like a hollow face. He's like, we got a heavy rep. Sure you do, yeah. I like how they just lied. It's like, yeah, we know. You got a cool rep. You guys are tough. Oh, this guy comes up. This is awesome. He's got like an article in the paper. They carry it around to show people. It's like, oh, see? They write about our raids. We don't get to see the, well, they're humoring. Yeah, that's really it. Oh, they're called the orphans. There you go. Our youth worker. She talks about you guys all the time. We ain't got one. Well, that's how badass you guys are. That's what I say. You guys are so bad they're afraid of you. It's such terrible lying, but it totally works because you get it. These guys are lame, and they're just like, hey, we're getting actual respect here. All right. He becomes reasonable. Yeah, come on through. You're not carrying weapons or anything. Ah, and there's Mercy. Oh, I forgot that Mercy was, like, not exactly in their gang, but she lives there, so, yeah. So here's our female character, Mercy. Reminds me of one of my past girlfriends, believe it or not. Has sort of a dark, curly gypsy look to her. That's one of my early girlfriends looked like. Not saying she was as hot as Mercy, I'm just saying. It was a very, very long time ago. I was a kid. It's like, hey, whatever you say to this chick is not my business. She's asking for one of their vests. We don't carry a spare vest around, you weirdo. So I'm just going to take it off? I like how embarrassed the orphan leader is, too. And of course she has to emasculate him. You're just going to let them walk through? You're kind of a shit disturber yourself, Mercy. Everything was going fine. It's like, well, now that she's embarrassed me, I'm going to make you take your colors off. He's going to say, fuck you, isn't he? I think it's a fuck you, right, Swan? Yeah. Nice delivery. Things are going so well till you fucked things up, Mercy. The war... Okay. Ooh. Don't call me no whore. Okay, you're a bitch. Fine. Well, there's different connotations of those words, I get it. Plus, they didn't actually say bitch. Mercy's interesting, though. She stirs all this up, I guess, just because she's bored. But she's, of course, going to get mixed up with them. These lame fucks. Now, of course, she has to antagonize them, because that's just her character. You're really bored, aren't you, Mercy? I say we should have wasted them. I assume that was Ajax who said that. That's his answer for everything. Just be... I mean, even in the world of gangs, Ajax is a little headstrong. Just beat up everybody you come into contact with. Oh, she's following them. I mean, I know that she does wind up mixed up with them, but I can't remember how. She's just following them again. Mercy's pretty bored. Hanging out on orphan turf kind of sucks. I guess she lives there. I don't know. So was it supposed to be Cowboy or Ajax? Let's see. It was... I know in one of them, I remember watching the stuff on this, they were really impressed by one of the auditions because he was like handcuffed to a table or something and he was freaking out during it. And they really liked all the rage he showed. Can't remember now, but there are I remember from a long time ago. There is some extras on here that talks to the cast and talks a little about. That's how I remember. It was kind of rough, the shooting. Yeah, you can't sneak up on the Warriors. Some real action. Because, for instance, when I was talking about like the book being a lot worse, I think several of them like gang rape her in the book. No joke. But of course, nothing like that's gonna happen here. Although I think that's Ajax was getting kind of a little handsy. He said, well, maybe we gotta pull a train on you. You look like you might even like it. But he only says it. We waited too long, and here come the damn orphans. A whole bunch of them. I've got a razor blade. Oh, yes, this is good. I like how calm they are. And they even use a bit of her dress for it. She doesn't know. She's like, maybe they are going to rape me right here. How about a cocktail? Molotov. Wow, they burned a car. We should, do nothing. Oh, hit the gas tank pretty quick. Makes sense, 70s car. I buy it, that would work. Yeah, so that's how she runs with them. I don't know why. She could have just run back to the orphans. The orphans weren't going to do anything to her, but she chose when they ran to run with them, so she doesn't know what she's getting herself into. And at this point, they still don't know they're being hunted by like every other gang in this city. The orphans were only doing it as to a show of power or whatever, which was really instigated by Mercy herself. They were going to let her walk through, let them walk through, until Mercy was like, "You're going to let them walk through? You guys suck." I don't know. Nobody asked you to come. Well, back to the riffs. They rumble anyway. Anyway, they fucked up. Says they got wasted, but they didn't really. They just failed. Oh, there's also an all-girl gang, too. Called the Lizzies, which I'm sure might be... Well, there's a few things. Reference to lesbies, suggesting they're lesbians. And, of course, Lizzie McGuire. The scary, famous Lizzie McGuire. Not Lizzie Borden. Something like that. So, once again, Luther on the telephone to the mysterious person. Just giving them an update. Yeah. Back when we didn't have cell phones, phone conversations were much more dramatic. Because you had to, like, find a phone somewhere. Maybe pay a dime or a quarter. I'm old enough to have used payphones. You can barely find them anymore. They still exist, but they're hard to find. I can only think of, like, one off the top of my head anywhere remotely near me, and it's, like, blocks and blocks away. Yeah. Why are you so happy? I'm having a good time. Because, yeah, that's just Luther's thing. He's a shit disturber. Oh, and they all pile into this massive car. I don't know what kind of car it is. But it's pretty funny. It's like... I guess the seats are removed, so they got room. Alright. Time. We're about 43 and a half minutes in. Short movie. It's only about 90 minutes long. So that's Vermin. The guy that's always complaining and mouthing off is Vermin. Where's Cowboy? It's funny how some of them just get lost in the background. Looks completely empty. Quiet night. Oh, cops, right. That's who comes after them first, cops. Very stealthy cops, just like in the Bronx. It's weird every once in a while when you see just ordinary civilians. You almost forget they exist. So, yeah, one of them isn't going to make it because he's going to get caught by the cops. I think. They might lose two here. One on the train tracks and one to the cops. We'll see. Does Mercy, like, accidentally kill one of the cops? Let's just see what happens. I can't recall exactly. We're running. Now they split into at least two groups. So is that Vermin who gets, like, tackled by the cop? And they fall into the... Oh, so they're both gonna get hit? Oh no, the cop threw him, yeah. So which one was that? That was Fox. Okay, so Fox got killed. Hit by the train. So Mercy's on her own there. Holy shit, that's funny. Mercy's on her own there. Swan, Ajax, Snow, and Cowboy are together. And Vermin, Cochise, and Rembrandt are the other group. So now they're split into three. But anyway. So Swan, Ajax, Snow, and Cowboy have all just run smack into the baseball Furies. And what's probably maybe the most sort of memorable scene in the movie. And being this great shot of the camera panning around and showing the baseball Furies surrounding them. So the four of them, at least double that, and of course with bats. So they do run for a bit. Some great shots of the city here. Feels so empty. I think I'm gonna sneeze, people. I don't like sneezing on air. Here it comes. The good news is that's it. I'm often one and done. 2, 3 is pretty rare. My mother can sneeze like a million times in a row. Or she does have allergies, so it's not her fault. Still make fun of her for it. Yeah, so they lead them on a merry chase, but they get caught up in this park area. But yeah, this whole confrontation and the music and everything is probably the most sort of memorable thing in the movie. Besides, like, some of the stuff I said, like the Warriors come out and play and Can You Dig It and stuff. But they're trying their best to run. Furies are determined. I think they just stop. They're just like, fuck running, I think. So now they split off 2 and 2. It was amazing seeing how old these actors looked when the extras were shot for this DVD release, because that was like more than 15 years ago now. Is James Remar even still alive? I don't know. Oh, there. So they dropped back and got behind a couple of them. It was a good scene. Oh, he does the Star Trek double fist thing that... I don't know. I don't think it's that effective. You never see that in an actual fight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so there were maybe 10 Furies. I see 8 there. Yeah, I'm good. I'm sick around for these wimps. Ajax just wants some action. It's not a bad kick. Cowboy's not quite as good at it. Ajax is an asshole, but he is good at fighting. Yeah, shove that bat up your ass and turn you to a popsicle. Nice. He's got to take it seriously, too. You think he's got a samurai sword there. Ooh. Fucking A. See, that's so close up, it's hard to see anything. So, I'm not happy with all the edits. I mean, the fight is good. But a couple times there, when they're swinging bats at each other, it's clear the actors weren't skilled enough to really pull it off that well, so they just sort of had it really close. It's okay. It's still a good... It's still a pretty well done fight scene. But some of the edits, I don't know, you get spoiled when you're used to watching a lot of like Hong Kong action movies where they do it so perfectly. Because I'm even now in like modern movies, like the editing is shit for a lot of fights, especially when you have stunt performers or actors that really aren't up to the task. But these guys are giving their all. It's pretty cool. So they fought them off. Pretty cool. Cowboy did not do so well, but he's on his feet. And now we've got bats. Going back to our mysterious DJ. I like how she calls everybody boppers. The baseball Furies dropped the ball. Made an error. Oh, clever, clever. Stay tuned. So, is Mercy completely on her own now? It seems like they split into 3 groups, with Mercy being by herself. Unless I missed something. So here's the other 3. Rembrandt's group. They managed to get on their train and make their stop. And they said they'll wait for the others. Alright, there's the Lizzies. But they do not know that that's a gang. How horny are these guys? I mean, not to pick on the Lizzies, but not too many are really that attractive. I mean, you take what you can get, I get it. And I'm not trying to be sexist or anything like that. It's not like any of the warriors are really great lookers. Most of them aren't. At least this group's not. I mean, you could say something like Swan's pretty good looking, I guess. I love how Rembrandt's not into it at all. Again, maybe another hint that he's gay, I don't know. Or maybe it's just that he's cautious. Ah, yes, I remember this. Female trouble over here, too, except it's just a lone chick on a park bench. And yeah, this is where Ajax really shows his true colors. I mean, it's not too surprising because he's so gruff and violent and threatening people all the time anyway. So yeah, this is how we're going to lose Ajax. But yeah, basically the reason that Cowboy gets offed is I think they fired either. I don't think they fired. Maybe he had, like, the actor quit. He wasn't happy, and he was quit. So they made it. So that's not even like actually the actual actor. It's a stunt double or something being thrown onto the track. So they had to get rid of him. And originally, because he's there with Mercy, the idea in the original script was like he and Mercy would sort of develop a thing. But the actor, they didn't have chemistry and didn't get along, and he was kind of difficult, and he quit. So they had to sort of write him out. Yeah, once again, maybe they're saying this. I don't think this is a good idea. Maybe you're all going faggot. I'm gonna go check this lone girl on a park bench, even though maybe we have better things to do right now. But yeah, so the actor playing Ajax, is that James Remar? Yeah, James Remar. They were really impressed by his audition because he did like the scene here where she's gonna handcuff him. Spoilers: she's an undercover cop who's gonna bust him. But I mean, he gets really over aggressive here. And I mean, she's doing the honey trap thing. She's being nice and friendly and coming on to him, saying how great his muscles are. Give Swan credit. It's like, fuck him, don't look back. But yeah, so that's why eventually when Mercy gets reunited with them, the story takes a turn that she and Swan sort of have like an attraction for each other. Because they wanted to do that in the original version of the story, but at first it was Cowboy, and because of the actor and everything didn't work out, so they offed Cowboy and changed it. Probably works out. Cowboy didn't have a lot of screen time, so it's not like anybody watching this version of the movie could get that attached to him and say, it's too bad we lost him. So yeah, that's how we lose to them. Cowboy is actually killed, even though it's kind of an accident. And Ajax is going to get busted here. He's like, I'll show you how I play. And she says not so rough, but he's like, no, this is fun. He says, you don't get it. I like it rough. Yeah, so we really know he does not care that she's fighting back. So Ajax is kind of a scumbag. He had his great moment of glory. There we go, yeah. So she handcuffs him to the thing, and he's going to freak out. Under arrest for what? All I did was sexually assault somebody. Come on, lady. Yeah, like, she's a cop. But I guess he still would say lady. Yeah, so his rage here. So, yeah, James Remar, I guess, really nailed the audition because he played the part where he's supposed to be, like... I don't know if he was literally handcuffed, but he acted like he was handcuffed to the table and was freaking out and sort of dragging the table around. And they were like, oh, yeah, he's good for the part. So here he goes, trying to free himself. So like, oh. He's trying to get at her and everything. It's funny. He's full of rage. You lousy bitch. If I was her, I wouldn't be... she must have something to say about these cops. Like, what took you so fucking long? She blew the whistle like 10 times. And, of course, even handcuffed to a bench, he's going to try to fight the cops. Doesn't go so well. So Ajax has fallen behind 2. So now we've lost 2. 3 if you count Cleon. Wimp. I guess you think he's a wimp because he used a billy club to hit you. Oh, they actually see it? Yeah, so they see him get busted. So I wasn't sure if they just left not knowing what happened, but there. Well, gotta go. Swan now alone. Yeah, because the other 2 went back to see him, so why is Swan alone? He just... Splitting up is a terrible idea. I mean, in some cases, it couldn't be helped, but here... They were like, we're going to go back and check on him. He's like, screw you guys, I'll just walk off by myself. I have no idea what that's an F. Oh, there, Mercy finds him. Okay, so. Mercy been wandering around. It gets worse than the cop grabbed him. Is that what she's going to tell him? She doesn't want to tell him the full truth? It was a lot worse than a cop grabbed him. She saw that he got flung under the tracks and run over. Where'd you get the coat? It's like, you stole a coat? I can't have you hanging around my gang. You don't have any moral fiber stealing coats. That's not what we're all about in the Warriors. It's funny though, I mean, as they do develop this attraction, at first he does sort of act like he's above her in some way, which is kind of funny. It's like, you're just a punk, you're in a gang. You're nothing special. Oh yeah, there, the way she's looking there is really familiar. Reminds me of someone I used to know. Long time ago. Oh, isn't there the roller skate gang's gonna show up. Forgot about them for a second. I haven't even seen them yet, it just popped in my head. We're at just a little past 59 minutes. No, another cop Well, shit. But I know that at some point in the bathrooms in the subway, some of them are going to get jumped by a roller skating gang. That would hurt. More. Ooh, lots. Ah, yeah, I remember this right down with the tracks. Very dramatic. Friday night, no one's around. Other people got things to do. I did an unboxing today, but it didn't upload the way I wanted it. Only one of my unboxings has uploaded in high definition. I don't know what I did different. My unboxing number 3 actually looks right, but the others aren't our standard definition. It's driving me nuts. I can't figure out what the problem is. Meanwhile, back to our 3 ladies' men, by which I really mean 2, and Rembrandt. These guys love it when they tell them what they want to hear. Like, Rembrandt's holding himself like this too. He's like, "Don't touch me, girls, you." So yeah. Even if you don't suspect that it's a female gang, anybody watching this, throw it my way. How'd you hear about the word? Word gets around. He's like, I guess it does. I guess we are pretty well known. Yeah, God, you guys are idiots. That is a cool scene. They got a cool little hangout here. See, I like that blonde, but she wasn't there when they got lured in. She's just already here. I think she's the one that maybe even dances with the other girl, because 2 of them are going to dance together. They're whispering to each other, and gee, I wonder if this could be some kind of trap. Rembrandt doesn't like it. Let's party a little, get something going. I dig that, yeah. This is awesome. I've never heard of the phrase too good to be true. I just think if a bunch of chicks want us to hang out and party, that's gotta be legit. Show me the girls dancing with each other. I like it. Oh yeah, they're just smoking. That's a whole fetish for some people. They think people look hot smoking. I think. Yeah. Oh, they even say, "What clique is this? We're the Lizzies." Lizzies. Oh, that's very cute. I like it. I like it. Yeah. Show me the dance. Ah, you 2 are morons. Hey now, you might as well pick both. Rembrandt does not approve. I admire your restraint. I would have picked more than one. If I was such an idiot that didn't realize the trap when I saw it, might as well enjoy myself before the trap is sprung. Yeah, Rembrandt's like, let's get that out of here. Yeah, sure, in a minute. You know, pussy, so fuck off. Yeah, it takes them a long time to actually realize that, or find out that they are being actively hunted. That it's not just the normal danger, that it's even worse. At this point, they don't know, but I still don't know if that would make any difference to these 2 horny idiots. Meanwhile, back on the tracks. Like Swan, I'm glad you found Mercy, but why did you just abandon the other 2? We don't have a scene of him separating from them. We just see that they go back, I guess, to find out what happened to Ajax, see Ajax get busted, and then just like, Swan didn't wait for them. What kind of leadership is that? You gonna say real tough chick again? He says that a lot. Yeah. He's being such an asshole. You care about names so much for? Everything she says, he has a problem with it. Yeah, that's the whole thing. He just thinks she's some kind of slut, but he doesn't know it. Look, you don't care where it is or who it is. Yeah, you're. What's the truth, Swan? I don't like the way you live. Like, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. He thinks she's some sort of slut, and he does not approve. Like, he doesn't know that. He just assumes it. And she says, you ain't any better than me. But yeah, Swan, he's acting all high and mighty there. I like how he said, like, you think it was his girlfriend or something that ran around cheating on him. Who gives a damn? Yep. Urban decay. I understand your live for today philosophy, but this is the first time you've really been proactive about anything, and all it's done is lead you into terrible danger. But yeah, see, she's still kind of into him despite the fact that he's been a complete jerk and totally judgmental. She's like, oh, I love it when guys judge me. I'm going to make out with you. You're kind of proving his point. What's he going to say? I can taste the other 10 guys. No, he just walks off. Even worse. You're so high and mighty, Swan. Going in for a set. Oh, he's like, oh, okay. Now I guess I do approve. You're a hypocrite, Swanee. Really going for it. Makes sense. Youth. Oh, does he have second thoughts at the end here? He pulls away. Oh, he's all confused. Oh, his head is cleared again. He's all business again. She's like, oh, shit, you're back to sucking. She really wants it, too. She's like begging him just to hang out and make out. You're just part of everything that's happened tonight, and it's all bad. Man, Swan, that's cold. Girl that you just furiously made out with. Go back to wherever it was you came. Wow. I do have to say, though, like, that, after him, like, judging her and talk thing, she's such a slut and everything, and he doesn't approve it, and she can't remember, like, making a sexual advance probably wasn't the best idea. But then again, he totally reciprocated, so, hypocrite. Meanwhile, finally, back at the Lizzie's hangout. Some more making out going on, but I want to see the girls dance. It's not much of a dance, but yeah, here we go. The blonde and the short-haired black one. They got a cool little eye contact dance going on here. They're like, yeah, it's a party now. Rembrandt's friends are engaged. Like, he doesn't even say anything. She asks him to dance. He just sort of backs away from her. Oh, Rembrandt, you're cute. Something wrong here. That's Goofy, by the way. It's like, wow, they're really into that dance. What is his first tip off? One of them's gonna do something. Hmm? Yeah, one in the denim jacket. She hasn't done anything all night. What's going on here? Door locked. Oh yeah, this is the first they hear it. You're the guys that shot Cyrus. The chicks are back! The chicks are back! Including a gun. Luckily, they're not very good with the gun. Swinging with a knife, too. Oh yeah, slugger. Broke a chair over her. Nice. Man, how many times can you miss? Well, okay, that was a bit of a... How many I told you so is you going to give them, Rembrandt? You guys blew it. But yeah, this is the first time they're like, they think we shot Cyrus. Rembrandt got cut on the arm. He's the only one that heard? Jesus. Yeah, so now it just realizes that all the gangs must be after them. We're fucked. That was mine. I wasn't quoting. He just says we're not going to be able to make it back. Oh yeah, now you want to go to Union Square. You're at an hour and 10 minutes and about 12 seconds. Swan is just once again wandered off on his own. I guess is Mercy following at a respectful distance? Because I know we're coming up to the bathroom attack scene with the rollerblade guys. It's the other good fight scene besides the baseball furies. Yeah, walking through like Subway with like the closed kiosks and stuff just reminds me of video games because I've never, experienced it in real life. So again, I'm thinking of like Resident Evil 3 or something. Some closed up Subway shops and kiosks and the shutters down and everything I'm walking through. Ah, yes. So here come the... First it's just some guy in overalls and roller skates. Oh, I mean, he looks very hostile, but it's just one guy. He's pretty tall, and he's even taller on roller skates. And so far we just see one. There's some really good, memorable scenes in movies where people get attacked in bathrooms. This is one of my favorites. Of course, there's an exceptional one in the anime film Kite that was actually homaged in the No Doubt video. Was it New? Might have been New. To look that up. I don't think too many people would have known that at the time, back in the 90s. I mean, yeah, nowadays people know more about anime and things. I kind of miss that in a way. I don't know. You don't want to be that person, but I mean, I remember when like stuff like comics and anime were, they were really off the grid in a way. It's not like it made me feel special or anything, but I mean, still, even to this day, there's tons of people that aren't into that or know much about it. But if not you, who? And it looked like it had Smokey the Bear. Sorry, I got distracted by some weird signs in the subway. So something finally worked out. The other two who I hadn't seen are back. So now we got 5 together. So the only one missing now is Swan. You sure about Ajax? Yes, I'm very sure. Real sure. They'd feel a lot worse if they knew Cowboy was fucking dead. And we've even watching. It makes me want to go to take a bathroom break. I always feel I'm too professional to take bathroom breaks if I'm soloing. But it's not like anybody's around. Oh, they all have overalls. So that's kind of their thing. Roller skates while wearing overalls. Okay. Mercy comes by looking for Swan. Sees 3 guys in overalls on roller skates. Oh, Swan's there too. Yeah, I think he's aware. Thanks for warning me, Mercy. I had no idea that those 3 guys on rollers... Yeah, I know they're... Like, if you meet anybody, basically, in our age group who's dressed in a certain way, they're a gang, and they're after us. Ah, reinforcements at last. So now there's 6. Not too bad, really. Sucks about Cowboy, though. Oh yeah, plus one of them managed to keep his bat. That's interesting. Yeah, look, he's actually that's almost an apology. It's as close to an apology as you get from Swan. I was kind of rough on you back there. Oh, okay, there's even more guys. Oh, only the leader's on skates. Okay. When she said that guy with the skates, he's after you, blah blah. I thought they were all on skates. Only the leader is on skates. It's too bad. I kind of wanted that to be their motif, that they all skated, but oh well. I guess they're not the roller skate gang. They're the overalls gang. I don't know. Doesn't roller skate seem more interesting and more different? I don't know. Anyway. They're all pretty tall. The guy in the red shirt's really big. Knife. Logically, there's really only one place they could be. A lot of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There might be 9 of them. But, I mean, they outnumber them, but not by a lot. It's interesting that most of these gangs just don't talk. The orphans had plenty to say, but these guys are all business. Oh, he's got a chain. Oh, Rembrandt uses his only weapon. Ah, he actually does knock him down pretty well with that punch. It was really clumsy. He punches like this. Ah! That's not really a punch, Rembrandt, but for the purposes of the movie, it worked. It's the most physical thing he'll do. Yeah, it's pretty hectic. Oh, okay, Rembrandt, now you're in trouble. You got your one lick in, now you're getting your ass kicked. As we can see, the Warriors are tough. Maybe they should be higher up in the food chain, because they can handle themselves. Oh, that hurts, though. That's a good stunt, getting thrown into the mirror like that. Yeah, actually, this is probably choreographed and edited a little better than the Baseball Fury scene. I mean, there's still a few cuts that I don't think you need to do, but this is pretty well done. Looks good. Oh, yeah, kicked him right through the stall. Blur, camera spin ram. I'd like to watch this scene a few times. Really get the beats for it. I love that. He tried to kick with the roller skate. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is probably the best scene. I like the Baseball Furies, but this is more of an enclosed space, and they get to throw them into things like the stalls. Yeah. That is a really good scene. Really good. Really well done. Who are we checking in with now? Is this the Gramercy Riffs again? Oh, is it Cyrus? Oh, it's... No, wait. Is that a rogue? The rogues come to tell them? Oh, right. I forgot about this whole thing. Is that one of the rogues is not happy at all with Luther's actions. And I think he's squealing on them, right? Yeah, somebody here you ought to talk to. Yeah, one of the rogues. Yeah, he says he saw who shot Cyrus, and it wasn't the... I was going to say it wasn't the Warriors. Yeah. I forgot about that. Like in the scene when they have Luther at the kiosk and blabbing on the phone, we see that this guy's... even says, like, why would you do that? It's like, I'm having a good time, or something like that. Yeah, I forgot. So, the truth's gonna come out. Now, they're finally reflecting on Cyrus about what could have been. They're finally back on the train. Looks like they're gonna make it. It's all out there. All we can do is figure out a way to go steal it. You could use another blackout, like in real life in New York. You know, they had that blackout in the summer of 1977. That led to a lot of crime and stealing. It's also helped jumpstart the hip hop industry because like wannabe like or would be DJs and MCs managed to steal a lot of really expensive equipment that they couldn't have otherwise afforded. This is the weird contrast. They run into normal civilians. It's like kids on their prom night. It's like as fucked up as the city is, kids still go to prom. Yeah. So yeah, a neat little thing. Guys with their dates and looking over at the Warriors and Mercy. Mercy in her pink shirt without a bra. What are you thinking, Mercy? Are you thinking that would have been a great life? Are you jealous of them? Or do you just think they suck? They just sort of stare at them. It's like we're in the same subway, but we're in different worlds completely. You know, the dirty fingernails, the bruises. All this time, Mercy's been running around in heels, so that can't be easy. I'll at least give the prom people credit. They don't like try to strike up a conversation. They realize there's probably nothing to be said. I like that too. It's like she's almost ashamed and Swan's like, no, be yourself. Yeah, those guys like nod. It's almost like a respect thing. It's okay, we get it. You come from something pretty heavy and we have nothing but respect for that. So we're just gonna go. So give the prom kids credit. They're somewhat respectful. They don't like look. They're kind of surprised by the gang and Mercy, but you know they don't make fun of them. Oh, they drop a corsage. So I'm gonna give the corsage to Mercy. I don't know. Doesn't seem like the type of chick that would appreciate that. It's good though. It's all on set here. You don't have any of the characters talking about it or anything. It's just something to wonder. So we're getting close. The sun is going to come up. The darkness is lifted and we're in sort of the bleak dawn. Morning came. Back at Coney. Seems like they made it. Well, gee, good. Movie over, right? That is a really good transition, though, from the comic book panel right into the actual shot. I like them. There's probably some people that prefer just the original version of the movie without those things, but I like them. They're just little things. They don't, you know, they're only here and there. They're not overused or anything. No, he picked up the corsage. It's like, you want it? I hate seeing anything go to waste. It looked more yellow on the train, but maybe it's the same one. Maybe it's just different lighting. Yeah. Here we are in the pre-dawn, or whatever you want to call it, or dawn. It's like, what a dump. I can't believe this is why we're... Yeah. Wow, Swan. It has been a hell of a night. I get it. Maybe I'll just take off. Everybody's got to do some reevaluating here. What are our priorities? He almost smiled there. You're really winning him over, darling. Yeah. And there's that car with the rogues. What kind of car is that? It's like a hearse, maybe? Like an old style hearse? I don't know. But it is pretty funny. It reminds me of like a clown car. I love how they all ride together in it. I mean, you guys have been chased all night. I think you might have a feeling when a car is creeping up on you. Especially when it's not even dark out anymore. Mercy really still doesn't know. She's like, you guys got like a clubhouse, or is there anywhere I can sleep? We never get to see. I don't think. Yeah, they know they're being followed. Under the boardwalk. That's a good song. Out of the sun, out of the boardwalk. Under the boardwalk. Coming up towards the end, we are at 1:23. Less than 10 minutes to go. You know, kind of. By running around. Some makeshift weapons. You want the pipe? I'll give you the pipe. Duckman reference. Even Mercy gets in on it with a bottle. Here come the rogues out of the car, like a clown show. Let me see. Oh, he's already out. You can hear the clicking. So we didn't see them drop Luther off because he's already found the bottles. David Patrick Kelly's idea, taking the bottles on his fingers. Pretty neat. I like it. I dig it. Oh, yeah, he's in the car. What he's doing? He's still in the car. But yeah, apparently he like kind of ran off set and ran under the boardwalk and found the bottles and brought them in to do it. It's pretty cool. Warriors. Come on, you can really stretch it. Yay, very good. Yeah. Well, we can't ignore an invitation like that. They're all still in the car. Maybe you could surround. I don't know. See, one of them still has the damn cowboy hat, so that's a little bit confusing. Yeah. See, I kept saying cowboy again. Cowboy has the hat. It was Fox. Probably said a bunch of times that cowboy got hit by the train. Fox got hit by the train, and I'm an idiot. Cowboy's still here. He doesn't have many lines or do much of things, but he wears a cowboy hat. That's why you can tell that he's cowboy. And yet I kept saying, like, Fox was him. No, Fox is the guy that got hit by the train. So Cleon, I guess, is probably dead, and we never see him again. So I guess that is one thing that's kind of I mean, it is a gang thing, right? Because they are gonna meet the Riffs here, and they're gonna say, you know, we found out the truth. But they don't say something like, sorry about killing Cleon, though. Like, at the time, we thought it was him, so we killed him. Like, they don't bring that up. Just understood, you know. They did what anybody would have done at the time. We thought it was him, so we wasted him. There we go. Nice showdown on the beach. Finally, some sunlight. Quite outnumbered. Plus, we all know how Luther works. He doesn't want to do a fair fight. This time you got it wrong. I remember that line. So Swan tries to do the honorable thing. Why did you do it? Why'd you waste Cyrus? No reason. Just like doing things like that. Be like, well, I guess. We live in a violent world. It makes a certain amount of sense, I suppose. But he's gonna say, yeah, you and me, like, we're the leaders. We should fight each other. It's like, fucking, you're crazy. Yeah, a fair fight is not Luther's idea. Great knife. Ah, that's a great reaction, too. Ah, you pussy. I think his gang doesn't really back him up either. Give me my knife back, you asshole. He uses his hair to wipe the blood off. Love that. Swan very quickly realizes what kind of punk he's dealing with. Not deserving any respect. They're thinking about it. And here come the Riffs. Yeah, right. That's a lot of Riffs. They're in their more casual wear tonight. Now they're just wearing t-shirts. Like, we're going to the beach. We don't need the karate stuff, right? Yeah, okay, t-shirts. The Riffs are such an organized and big gang that they have, like, multiple things. So today it's casual wear. Black pants, black t-shirts. Very cool. He really makes the most of his last lines. The Warriors. Swan again, the best. He says it right, like he gets a huge compliment from the toughest gang in town. He's just like the best, but you know you got to show that. It's like, yep. Ooh, one of them is a hockey stick. Pretty cool. Walk of respect. Yeah. I can understand how he becomes the leader of the rogue because they're so passive. They never say anything or do anything. Like, we let him boss her. No. Yeah, so we know where they definitely get him. I don't know what they do to the rest of the... And finally we get a little sum up from Thigpen. I know, she doesn't have a name in this, but Thigpen is such a weird name. I know it's her last name, but still. She's dead, she died some years ago, but I remember her very well as the chief on Carmen San Diego. So this is kind of a cool, iconic role, just her. So now we finally get some happy music. Although I forgot, there was some pop stuff in there between. The Joe Walsh song. I'm looking at the... Let's get some music on. We know Mercy's gonna hang out with them, but that's all we know. Somewhat ambiguous ending, because we don't need to, like, a big epilogue, like, know what they all went on to do or anything. And again, it's just a simple, sort of self-contained story. They lost some, but they made it through. Justice prevailed. So, I don't know. I don't think anybody was around tonight. That's fine. I just felt like watching the movie, and I had energy, so I might as well blab, and I was trying to check out OBS again. Michael Beck as Swan. Marcelo Sanchez as Rembrandt. Why do I feel like he's dead, too? Gramercy riffs. City! No! Forgot the song, kind of. The Turnbull ACs. The Orphans. The Baseball Furies. Oh, there were 12 Baseball Furies. The Lizzies. A gang simply called Punks. Or maybe that means they're not. So yeah. That's my favorite Walter Hill movie. Really like Walter Hill. He's done some cool stuff over the years. I guess I'll have to find a Blu-ray for this maybe eventually. This still doesn't look bad. I'm not one of those people that needs to replace all my DVDs with Blu-rays. This holds up pretty well. The important thing is it is the director's cut, which I do like, but to be honest, it's the only version I've ever seen. I haven't seen the normal version. But I feel like if I saw the original version, I would feel like I would just be like, oh, where's that stuff? It's missing. I know adding stuff doesn't always make things better, but as Hill says in the introduction himself, he says, you know, there's probably people that prefer the original version, and that's fine, but this is the closest to the story I wanted to tell and what I wanted to convey. So in this case, I am in agreement with the director, but sort of some bias built in there too. But yeah, just a really cool movie, really a lot of style, a very influential movie. Like I said, I think there's a lot of people that have never seen it, might didn't even know it, but they've encountered in other media things that like were influenced by it or pay homage to it or whatever, or even parody it. It's good stuff. There's a whole episode of American Dad that like does like a parody of it, where Steve and his friends are being hunted by the various cliques in school. And they even do the whole thing with the principal sort of taking the role of the DJ, because he's of course talking over the PA speaker in the school. So there you go. Very cool. No point in overstaying that. The Warriors. Still like to track the game down sometimes. Look pretty cool. Anyway, that'll do. Just wanted to get something done for the night while I had some energy. Let me just work on some settings again, because I know this isn't looking the way I want it to, which is why I kept the lights off anyway. No point in turning the lights on when you don't have the quality you want. This was just something to do for the sake of getting it done, so thanks a lot. Maybe I'll revisit it sometime, because I do like the movie a lot. Thanks a lot for anybody tuning in later after this. Thank you.